Well, well, well. Look at you, Paula.
Hey,
How are you doing today?
oh, great. Where are you?
I am in Nashville, Tennessee. What about you? Look at that. Mount.
Oh, I'm in Beverly, Massachusetts, and there's a little bit of snow. Yep.
Amazing. That's close to where you grew up, right?
Yes. Yep. Kind of the fool's full circle journey
It
back
is.
living.
And what a journey it's been, Paula.
Oh.
But yeah, of course, Paula, I was listening to Low, by the way, your incredible 2024 album, the other day, and it got me thinking, Paula, like women are making some of the best music. Like if you think about it, I mean, people like Casey Musgraves, I mean, Chappelle Roan, if you want to go young, but then
Good.
you listen to stuff like Invisible Armor, and it's like, man, I mean, like female artists are just making the best stuff. Do you agree or
Oh.
disagree with that?
I don't know. I don't know. Um, there's a lot of music I don't know. I am aware of some of the younger musicians simply through my daughter, who's just turned 23. So I'm aware of Rowan and what an incredible force she is. Yeah, to me, that's really fascinating. I, I, you would probably have a better perspective on that than me. But thank you for that. I mean, oof, I'm trying to like make the best art I possibly can. That's my job.
Of course. And that you're doing, Paula. And by the way, for my audience, this is Paula Cole, her newest album, Low, like we said, it's out now. First original music in over a decade, and she's gonna be honored at the 2025 She Rocks Award in Anaheim, California, which we'll be there to celebrate with you, Paula. And Paula, when you get a call like that from like the Women's International Music Network that puts it together, and they say we want to celebrate everything you've done, not just for music, but like for women in music, what are your first thoughts that go to you?
I'm really touched. Um, I'm kind of humbled, and it's touching because you go years without feeling seen sometimes. And if you've been in this business long enough, like it has its trends and you're cool and you're not cool, or you're seen or you're not seen. And there've been times that I've been really a lot out there, and then times where I've felt absolutely invisible. Um, so it's it's humbling. Like maybe I'm getting old enough now where they want to start honoring me. It's like the middle years where you
I don't
really
think that's it. No, but I mean that's great, Paula. And by the way, I mean the fact that you were just on the road, touring this great album. We just missed you here at Americana Fest, but I heard from people's
Mhm.
jaws were in the floor. And how was that? Like kind of like having that relationship with your fans again, and people coming up to you and saying like, "You have no idea what you've meant to me." That's gotta feel great.
It feels so much larger than me. I feel like I've been this struggling human being in my life, and music has been my therapy
Mm.
outlet, maybe sometimes my spiritual practice in a sense too. Like I'm trying to be a better human being through the work. And what's amazing is that it's saved. Like it'll be out there forever. The albums that you make, like Polaroid snapshots of your life over time, and like a living diary. It's an oral diary. But then I meet people like after shows or over time, and they found the music and it spoke to them. And it's the music, it's not me. I'm just kind of in service to it. I have to get out of my way. But then when you hear that people might have had some breakthrough with the music, I, I'm I'm blown away. And that's really the whole point.
Yeah.
That is the whole point. And some of the stories you hear are just profound. Helped me get through cancer. I left an abusive relationship. I finally understand how my wife felt about this, or, I came out, or just finding courage. Music
Yeah.
helps us find courage. It helps us kind of get into a more transcendental state and transform and access our feelings. So, how lucky am I? How lucky am I to have this? Sometimes it's a hard job. It's a weird job, ups and downs in the music business, but um I can't do anything else. I love it so much.
Yeah. Well, Paul, I was thinking about that, and you mentioned so much interesting stuff there. But you've always had a beautiful sensitivity to like issues that go beyond like ourselves. You know, I mean, you did that Marvin Gaye song, Mercy Mercy Me, for Planetary Health way back in the day. You've done the Hidden in Plain Sight about slavery. And I was just curious, like, even since you were little, did you have that sensitivity to kind of like bigger worldly issues? Is that kind of something that you were kind of born with?
I think yes, and you probably are too, since you're even asking me that question. But you can see that about me, you know? And hopefully that's part of what an artist is that kind of empathy, the sensitivity. I'm totally a sensitive person. Oh my goodness. I'm sometimes I'm a live wire and I'm my own worst enemy. I feel so much. Sometimes I feel so much nonverbal information that I can't even hear what people are saying to me. And I'm probably yet another woman in midlife who's got inattentive ADHD, that was undiagnosed. But I- absolutely, I'm an artist with huge depth of feeling. Absolutely. It's almost a requirement.
Yeah.
And I remember like donating to Greenpeace in high school. I remember just like now it's like un-PC, but I would dress as like a Native American girl when I was in grade school, and because we have like a tiny drop of two tribes in us and in my family, and so I just felt it, and I felt kinship, and
Yeah.
I just it's inexplicable, but I feel so much. It can be it can really get in the way sometimes, but as far as writing and creating, it's quite a muse. So yes, I've just felt like writing socially politically is part of the responsibility of being an artist.
So interesting, Paula. Like when we see what's happening in Los Angeles right now with the fires, right? I'm sure you have a lot of friends and people that you know that are affected by it. You know, I'm not an artist, but I would imagine that, right now there's a lot of anger, right? From your perspective.
I think there's anger at climate deniers, at inaction. They've been predicting this for years. Scientists, even Al Gore talked about what's going to happen. Well, the planet's going to warm up and there's going to be fires. They've been cautioning us for uh, more than a decade, decades now.
Right.
And 2024 was the warmest year on planet, recorded history of man on planet Earth that we know of. So it's changing, and it's going to be very, very difficult and not impossible to go backwards. This is where we need mankind's ingenuity to try to find a way to cool.
Yeah.
But our greed gets in the way. It's like the catch-22. How can we not be human and not have greed and look at the whole? We do have enough resources to feed everybody on this planet. We do. If we figured it out.
Absolutely.
But greed gets in the way.
Yeah.
So here we are. And yes, I have friends who've lost their homes and their studios, so they've lost their employment. We
Right.
have GoFundMe funds. Um, and I've got other friends who did have their house saved, but they're staying in it to prevent looters from coming.
Wow. Yeah.
So they're
Good layer.
tired. Yeah, they're tired, they're exhausted, they're afraid,
Yeah.
and they're dirty because they can't shower. And also the air is
Yeah.
going to be a problem. Look at all that fire retardant being, you know, sprayed all over the city, all of the toxicity and the smoke, all of the plastic and the metal burning, and then you're breathing it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of 9/11 for sure. So,
Mm.
um, it's very sad. I kind of am in this liminal space where I almost can't function. I'm checking the news constantly. I'm in touch with my friends. I lived there for a period of time. My daughter was born there. She had her worst asthma when she lived there anyway, which is one of the number one problems for children in California is asthma based
Yeah.
on, formerly loose corporate legislation around their air pollution. But uh, I'm really, really grateful that we're not there, but I love California. It's like part of me.
Absolutely.
My family lived there. Mm. So, yeah, of course. My favorite artists were the ones that kind of dared to speak and sing and write socially, politically.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence that they're not nobodies. From John Lennon to Nina Simone and Billie Holiday and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young and Joni Mitchell and on and on and on. These people, Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, like these people, these beautiful people, they always shared the mantle of their artistry with being a voice for the voiceless or giving light to a cause. So, yeah, it can be pedantic. Yeah, it's some people might frame me that way, but I'm not interested in art as clever. I'm interested in art as feeling and transformation. So
I love that.
I'll stick my neck out. I just feel I write what I feel. So sometimes it's about social justice.
I love that, Paula. Well, I mean, one of the reasons we're honored to talk to you and to why you're gonna be honored is because it seems like just in research, the pattern was like, man, Paula was empathy and she was others before it was cool. Like you were like a trailblazer in it. And I think that, and I do think obviously your music and your discography is fantastic, but the fact that you always knew that the secret to living is giving, that's what really, like, what you're like, so really happy for that.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for seeing me. And I'm so happy that, you know, younger fans and different generations are coming to the concerts now. That's everything. I love it.
I love it, Paula. And pivoting to that, because I could talk to you for 17 hours, Paula, but like, let's pivot to just a few more happy thoughts here. When that Dawson's Creek thing happened, I have to ask you about that. And you probably talk about this every other day, and I apologize. But when did you realize? Because you made the song, that, like, you got hired for the song for the show, but those shows, you never know which one's gonna be a hit. I mean, most are not. When did you realize that, like, not only was the show a hit, it was a massive hit, and your song was like the brand, like the first impression of a massively worldwide show?
Isn't it crazy how big it was? It totally eclipsed me. You know, I um I got a phone call from Kevin Williamson, who created Dawson's Creek, and he said he was a fan. He would love to use the song. And I had had songs placed in pilots or trailers, and it's true. Sometimes the songs die. I mean, sorry, the shows die. The shows die, and you don't. It's like, okay, whatever. Let's give it a shot. And then I kind of went away from the music business for some years. I started raising my daughter, um, and like had a little hiatus. But in that time, like Dawson's Creek became this mammoth success. And look at the beautiful actors it spawned, and um, yeah, and the song has been inextricably linked with Dawson's Creek. And for a minute that bothered me, but it's like I'm over it. And because there was some initial prejudice about the marriage of contemporary music with shows.
Mm.
People were snobbish about it. And
So
so,
you were ahead of the curve on so many things, Paula. Oh, really? Now that's the thing. It's like incredible.
well, you get a lot of heat when you're in the front. Like, you do. But now, I mean, it's like Radiohead and Billie Eilish. I hear them on the Jackal, and so it's like it's everywhere. The Rolling Stones, everybody's on shows now.
That's what leaders do, Paula. They go first. Amazing. Let me leave you with this because you're so busy and we're excited to see you in Anaheim. But let me leave you with this. Paula in 2025, mother, a complete a person, a soul, always striving to be better, which you mentioned at the beginning, growing spiritually. Who is Paula Cole in 2025?
2025, I'll just focus on that because who is Paula Cole is too existential a question. um, so 2025, I'm gonna stick around in this studio that you see here, like to do some writing. Working on a book, working on a musical, working on ideas. I'm practicing my guitar. I don't really start touring until May. And also my mom is older and I want to spend some time with her. But mostly it's like I'm going to return to Canada too when I go on tour, which is nice. I haven't been in ages. So that's great. But mostly I'm I'm going to be working on creative projects. Oh, and I'm kind of unearthing old demos, and I'm going to the beginnings of my songs and career, like the early 90s, and digging out my old demos. Like we're talking pre-digital, and I'm going to master all of this so that it's all digitized and I can listen to everything in a playlist. And I'm thinking about maybe releasing some because I have so many demos and I think there's something worth sharing there. So I'm ideating. I'm in a creative space. I'm going to tour like more on the back half of the year of 2025, and in the front half, really dedicate myself to some creative projects.
Exciting. Well, Paula Cole, you've said it all. What a person. Can't wait to celebrate you at the She Rocks Awards in 2025 in a couple of weeks, Paula. And yeah, thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you so much. You're so
Absolutely.
lovely. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Click here to subscribe and get the latest from the show, including exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and once-in-a-lifetime performances. And as always, thank you for making J-Rock Concerts Media part of your day.